Hey viewers and friends, Andrew back again, and welcome to another video. And today I'm just going to be doing a couple of movie reviews at random, or reviewing two movies. I'm probably going to start doing this sort of video because currently working on my massive amount of backlog of films that I've owned for some up to a year or over a year that I've yet to actually sit down and view. One of the joys of being a movie collector, I guess. But yeah, I'm currently doing that, and I'm coming across some fantastic movies, so I thought, off and on, not too sure how regularly, but I will be doing these sort of random movie review / recommendation videos, yeah, as part of the channel now. I know I haven't been doing a lot of slasher reviews recently. That's simply because, you know, I've sort of taken a little bit of a break from those movies and focusing on other parts of my collection, but I will be getting back to those slasher reviews, so don't worry about that, because I know they are fairly popular, which is awesome. But yeah, just wanted to get back into doing more sort of movie review recommendation type videos, rather than just doing updates all the time. But yeah, today I'm going to be talking about two modern horror movies that I've only just seen. The Strangers and The Collector. These are two home invasion horrors. I've owned both for about a year now, I think, and only just got around to them recently. So yeah, I'm here to review these two movies and yeah, let you guys know what I think of them. So we're going to start off with The Strangers. Now, this is a movie that I don't hear too many people ever talk about. It's definitely one of the more underrated modern horror films, I think. I have heard this being talked about on occasion, not too much, and everyone that has talked to me about this movie seemed to love it. So yeah, I've got to say, definitely agree with them, and I can't believe that it's taken me a year or so to actually finally get around to watching it. So The Strangers centres around a couple who are on a weekend away. They're staying at a rural property, recently going through some relationship difficulties, so they're trying to use the weekend away to rekindle that. They seem to be sorting through some of the issues when very, very early in the morning they get a very loud and menacing knock on the door by someone. And that is basically when they start getting tormented by these three masked intruders throughout the rest of the night. There is a little bit more to the storyline, obviously, than that, but that is all I'm really wanting to give away at the time, because this is a movie that you really, really need to experience yourself, I think, for it really to be effective and to realise what I'm actually talking about and why I love the film so much. This is definitely not a gory film like a lot of recent modern stuff. It does not rely on gore at all. It's more back to basics, simplistic, creepy, frightening, chilling horror, and I've got to say it is very, very effective. This movie is absolutely amazing, and you know, all movies have faults, but sitting here doing this review, I really can't think of any when I think of this movie. Very, very hard to fault. I thought it was brilliantly executed, very, very different to what I was expecting, and yeah, so much better for it. I expected this film to have the three masked killers basically capture the couple and torture them throughout the night. Not the case at all. In fact, it's the complete opposite. Most of the movie is spent with the young couple. They know these intruders are surrounded the property. They know that they're getting targeted, but quite often the intruders aren't even inside. They don't really show themselves a lot throughout the entire movie, and that's what makes it so effective and chilling and creepy. There are some very, very frightening and chilling scenes throughout the film where the intruders might be spying on a certain character, and the character has no idea that they're actually being watched, and yeah, just very, very effective. There's one very chilling moment at the end of the film that genuinely freaked me out and sent chills down my spine, and that is when you actually find out why the young couple are being targeted. Very, very chilling moment there, and the ending's very, very effective as well. So this is a very, very hard movie to fault. I just thought it was so well done, and it really, really worked well. So I would highly, highly recommend The Strangers, especially if you are sick of all the gore and sex and high violence in horror movies. This is definitely one to check out because it is very, very different in that aspect. So I would give The Strangers a 4 out of 5. Now we're going to be talking about this movie here, The Collector. Same home invasion premise, but the complete opposite. This one's got all your violence, brutality, and gore in it, and for a American horror, it is pretty extreme, I've got to say. I was very, very impressed with it. So The Collector centres around a family who's getting their house done up. The house is going through maintenance. So the film sort of centres on them, but then it also centres around another character called Arkin, who's working on the house, and he discovers that the family are rather wealthy. They own a jewellery store, and they've got some rather expensive jewellery in a safe inside. So he basically has to help his ex-wife and his young daughter get out of debt. So he decides to go back to the house while the people are away and rob it, basically, to help his ex-wife and his daughter out. What he doesn't realise is the family never managed to go away, and they've basically been held hostage in the house. So when he goes back, he soon realises that there's someone else in the house that is torturing this family. The house is set up with some brutal traps, and he basically has to decide whether he wants to go through with the robbery or help this family out. That's all I'm really going to say, because spoilers and everything. This movie was fucking awesome. I've got to say, this is probably more underrated than The Strangers. It's a movie that I've hardly ever hear anyone talk about, and it is a movie that I highly, highly recommend. I thought it was absolutely brilliantly done. Some of the traps are so brutal. The gore is really, really good. A couple of standout traps were the bear trap, and there's some fish hooks. That's all I'm going to say. There's plenty of other great traps. There's some pretty simplistic ones, and then there's some pretty outrageous ones as well. But this movie was very, very good. Pretty predictable though. But I don't really classify that as a downside, because this is just such a fun and awesome movie to watch. And I've heard that there is a sequel in the works for this film actually, so that's really, really good. Looking forward to that, because I just thought that this was a brilliant modern horror, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I would rate this movie a 4 out of 5 as well. I enjoyed both movies. They are both home invasion films, but they are very different from each other, and to me they worked just as effectively for what they were going for. And I really, really enjoyed both of them. So I highly, highly recommend both The Strangers and The Collector, and I give both of them a 4 out of 5 rating. So definitely, in my opinion, easily two of the best modern horrors, and well worth picking up and checking out. So that's my quick review and recommendation of The Collector and The Strangers. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.